All right, guys, today is our last, not last of the unit, but last of our big kind of proving guys. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that tomorrow we just have the generic notes over what an isosceles and equilateral triangle are, and then we'll get to our review. So woohoo, we've almost made it through triangle congruence. Yes. I know, everyone's favorite subject. So we're going to go ahead and go through our last idea, which is called CPCTC. Whew, that's a mouthful. What does this stand for? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So this will be used to show that other pieces of a triangle are congruent by first using side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. So for example, say I'm using side, 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 and it's asking me to prove that an angle in that triangle is congruent. Well, I've already proved the sides, so then I have to go back and say, since I've proved the triangle is congruent, therefore the angles are also congruent based on CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. This is a big thing to point out here, so let's get our highlighter. When you use CPCTC in a proof, the congruent statement or reason step must be followed by a therefore statement that begins with a 3 triangle symbol. So, for example, in our last step, typically we say the triangles are congruent. Well, I'm trying to say that the sides are congruent based on stating the triangles are congruent. So I already say, hey, by the way, since I've already proved it, these then also are congruent. So we'll be using that symbol a lot. Okay, what's given to us? Well, I see lots of things that are drawn on my picture today. So I'm going to highlight those so we don't forget them. And then I also have typical stuff written. So I'm going to get out my number 1 and write the word given. Woot! Easiest part of any proof, writing number 1 given. Now we're going to have to write everything else that's given. Okay, so we are told that oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. I misread. This is what I'm trying to prove. That is the idea, that's my goal. I'm gonna make him purple because why not? Oh, I didn't want to do that again. Huh. The goal is to prove this guy, so I don't actually know anything about him. What I'm trying to do is somehow prove these 2 triangles are congruent so that I can say, hey, by the way, this side's also congruent. So in my number 1 given statement, I have that angle P is congruent to angle S, and angle R is congruent to angle Q. And how do I know that stuff was marked for me? Good to go. And I'm like, I have all of these tricks and tools in my task basket. What can I use to prove something? Well, let's think. If I have guys right next to each other, maybe there's a side that might be equal. Remember when we talked about free stuff? Here's one of my free stuffs. PS has to be congruent to PS or in some kind of fashion because he's that reflexive property. That's my free guy. And his reasoning. Reflexive. And so I asked myself, have I proven anything yet? Have I used my, come on, change color, thank you, side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, or my angle, angle, side. Have I used any of those guys yet? Do I see any of that given? Well, I did not use sides, so that's crossed out. I have an angle. I have 2 angles, so that's crossed out. So it's got to be one of the last 2. So where's my side compared to my angles? Well, let's go from we like to count, and I see I have 1 and I see I have 2. So let's go from 1 to 2. So angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. And if you notice, if I wanted ASA, or angle, side, angle, my mark would have to be in between them, and it's not. So I've proved this triangle is congruent based on angle, angle, side. So I can say triangle RSP is congruent to triangle. Oh, perfect. I have lots of room. Okay, I want R to S, so I want yellow to green, so Q to P to S. Remember, we like colors for a reason. If you need colors, get them, use them. You need to help yourself. Colors help. Get them. Okay, and we use angle, angle, side. So our goal is to show that, let me move my 2 up and move my 3 over. My goal is to prove that SQ, color I haven't used yet, blue, sounds great. SQ is congruent to PR. Well, since I've proven my triangles are congruent, I can say, well, of course those pieces are congruent. So I need my 3 triangle dot. Oh, I'm going to leave some space and I'm going to type the rest of it. SQ is congruent to PR. And that means, so therefore, come on, marker. Therefore, SQ is congruent to PR, and that tells us that by CPCTC. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Next one. Again, we're not told any given information. It's just put on the picture for us, so we're going to have to write it out. So number 1, what do I have? I've got PO and PS are congruent. And I also see that angle P and angle P are congruent. So I've got 2 things I can write out. So I can say OP is congruent to SP, if I can hit the right letters. Oops, that was silly of me. And, okay, since P is split, I have to use 3 letters. So we'll go angle SPT is congruent to angle SP, so O to P to T. And that's all my number 1 rule of what is going on. That's not what I asked for. I asked for this. Thank you. Which is my given pieces of information. Number 2. Again, I have to show these triangles are congruent by side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. Remember, we do not write profanities in math class. Well, because I have an angle already included, I can go ahead and cross off side, side, side. So that part's easy. I see I only have 1 angle so far. Maybe I'll be able to prove something, but I don't really see any of my vertical angles, so I can cross off those last 2. So theoretically, I need to do side, angle, side, which means I need my second side. Oh, hey, look, given information. Freebie, free piece. Just like our last guy. My reflexive property pops out. TP is congruent to TP. Ooh, okay, so I've got a side, an angle, and a side. I've got a side, an angle, and a side. Woohoo! So step 3, I can say, hey, guess what? Triangle SPT is congruent to triangle S to P, so I need to go O to P to T. Am I starting to run in my face yet? Yep, cool. And what's his reasoning? That was side, angle, side. Well, since I've proven that my triangles are congruent, I can show that angle S has to be equal to angle O. So my therefore, which I'm going to leave some space so I can actually do that, angle S is, excuse me, to angle O. And our reasoning is CPCTC. Therefore, angle S is congruent to angle O, CPCTC. Look in your homework.